Exactly. One more minute. All right. So, good evening. Now, if you recollect, what was our last session? Anybody?
So we learned that uh, even prisoners can teach us many lessons.
Even prisoners can teach us many lessons. All right. Yes. So it was in a, what we can say, it was in a prison, isn't it? Normally, everybody associates prison with what? Only criminals go to prison. Is that true? Yeah, but then there are now Rennie also shared one example, isn't it? She gave some anecdotal experience. What is an anecdotal experience? Anybody? Can you tell me? No. Okay. So, what experience you get, isn't it? That when you share, we are young, you are now gathering experience. But maybe after 10 years down the line, or 15 years down the line, you can say, oh, yes, there was this time when I went here, I met this person, something like that. So even now you can give such experiences also. And I think for making us understand better, I think Rennie shared one experience, isn't it? So she had shared about her mom going to the prison. Did she go to the prison inside? No. She went there for lodging a complaint about a stolen wallet. Is it right, Rennie?
Yes, sir, it was.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So something gets lost. You go there, you complain. So the good people also go there. Everybody goes there for what we can say justice ultimately. So that was the lesson. And if you can recollect the points, anybody? What were the points that we saw last? Anybody? Some of the points. Yeah, Rennie, please tell me.
So anything that is constructive and good and positive is good for you, and everything destructive and negative is bad for you.
Yeah, absolutely, isn't it? So conversations also when you have, you should try to have constructive conversations. Why? It will make us get better, isn't it? Constructive conversations will help us move ahead. Unnecessarily, if we just try to criticize and gossip somebody, with somebody, that is of no use at all. So just like that. Any other points you can think of? What do the prisoners teach us? Sometimes people say they are better teachers than even, like say, I'm talking so much. You may forget a few things, but some things what prisoners may teach. Yes, Rini, would you like to share it? Yes, please.
So we learn very many indirect lessons from prisoners. We learn what not to do after seeing what they do.
Yeah, isn't it? Not to do. That's actually a very important thing also. There was one HOD of a department I had met. So he had worn a very interesting T-shirt. Life is keeping your mouth shut when it is vital. And what has he shown? In that there is a big fish. The mouth of the fish is open and there's a hook next to the mouth of the fish. So what happens? How is the fish trapped? It is because it goes and catches something, isn't it? Something like that. So that was teaching us indirectly that we should be alert, we should speak where we have to, and we should not speak where we shouldn't, where it's not required. In an exam hall, if you sat talking to your friend who is sitting next to you, very nice t-shirt or nice wristwatch or something like that, what will the examiner think? Yes, Viona,
Sir,
in an exam hall, instead of writing the exam, if you start talking with your neighbor, discussing something about which movie you watched, or what is for lunch, or what a nice wristwatch. What will happen?
we'll get distracted from that. the exam.
And what will the examiner think?
They they'll
You're
put
asking the
minus
answer,
marks for
isn't it?
us.
You're asking the answer, isn't it? And then you will become the example for others when the examiner
I
takes you out of
can't
the
ask the
classroom.
answer. I'm sitting next to fifth standard.
Why, in front of you, behind you, they will not be there.
I sit in the last. In front of me, they'll sit, but
Okay, okay,
between
it was
us,
a
they'll minus.
hypothetical situation. It was just a hypothetical situation. I'm not saying you will ask for answers or you will get a punishment also. I'm sure both will not happen. But what I'm saying is sometimes people who do wrong also they set an example of what we should not do. As Rini perfectly said, indirect lessons. Who can learn indirect lessons? Those who are ready to learn. So you can learn from everybody. Good people will teach you what to do, and the not so good people will tell you what not to do. It's as simple as that. Then, how can we have to try to improve our good traits. So, I think with this, we are ready to start our next chapter. It's connected with food, a favorite topic of many people, isn't it? How many of you like food? Yeah? How many? All? Yes. So, now, today, the teacher is taking them to a place which is a food court. Can you see the screen? Can you tell me what's written there at the bottom?
I think it says change the right type of.
Okay, maybe it's not very clear. I'll try to scroll.
Yeah, it's
One
choose the
second.
right type of food.
Choose the right type of food, isn't it? Yeah, all right. So if you see this, children have now been brought to a food court. How many of you have gone to a food court? Okay, everybody? We've done all right. All of us have gone. What happens when you go to the food court?
We eat
Are you calm? Are you peaceful? Are you very confident on what you are going to eat?
medium.
Medium. Okay. I know mine is not medium, mine is worst. What to eat? What to eat? What to eat? All directions. Oh, should I try this? Should I try this cuisine? Or what should I eat? That is what happens, isn't it? Sometimes. So many options, that much confusion. And now all the students, they were thinking, now what? After taking to the prison, which is the next place? They're surprised that it's a food court. So let's see what we can learn from the food court also. For today's lesson, the venue was no surprise. The teacher had already announced that he would be treating the students at the food court and that their lesson would start after they enjoyed eating their choice of food. On reaching the venue, the teacher said, now, how wonderful it is, isn't it? If the teacher says, yes, everything's on me, go choose what you want to eat. And that's exactly what has happened here. The teacher says, hi, students, you all must be very happy today. And there's a big, loud answer in chorus. Yes, sir, this is a surprise party for all of us. One student says, I see so many types of food dishes that I can't decide what to eat, sir. The second student says, oh, all these are mouth-watering items. I think everybody is going to have a good dinner immediately after the lesson. So one says, oh, all of these are mouth-watering items. The third says, this is the most famous food court in town. Student 4 says, what is the purpose behind bringing all of us here? The teacher says, the first purpose is that I am happy observing your progress in the last few days. You are acquiring knowledge for personality development with sincerity by asking real questions suitable for your growth. You're not just asking informational queries, but are asking to know something truly. That's why I have arranged this party. So the teacher says, you have actually done something wonderful, and it's a time for celebration. He says, because you're learning well. And all this, that is the purpose of the workshop, isn't it? Which he's conducting. It is for learning and for growing. And so the teacher is also quite happy. The student says, we understand that we are enjoying this party and your love for us, but always, but you always teach us something. wherever we go. So they say, yeah, but you will not spare a lesson. Everywhere you go, you teach something. Some lesson starts. Whether you go to a ground, you go to a university, even jail, you did not leave us just like that. You taught a lesson in jail. So what is it now? In the food court, the student asks immediately. The teacher says, yes, rightly understood. But tell me your choice from these dishes first. One student says, sir, I would like to eat anything sweet. Another says, I want to opt for the crispy fries. Another says, I will go with idli and sambar. The teacher says, okay, okay. Let's first start and finish eating. After everybody is satisfied, we shall sit nearby and discuss on some vital points. There's something very interesting, isn't it? Practical lessons can happen anywhere, anytime. It doesn't have to always be in the classroom. So there's and what is required? A good teacher is required, yes, but also a good student is required, isn't it? So a good student can learn anywhere in any atmosphere. The students in chorus, they all say, okay, sir, thank you. And after enjoying various dishes as per their own liking, all students gathered. Is everybody's taste the same or different? Any of you can tell some of the very interesting or funny tastes you have or your friends have, which you prefer, choices?
My
Yes,
father,
Fiona.
he's
Yeah?
mixed. My father, he's mixed watermelon with sambar rice.
Oh my God. Okay, that's an interesting one. Watermelon with sambar rice. Okay, so you've quoted your father's, one of your good friends, isn't it? He's also your good friend. Yes? Okay. Yes. Rennie wants to say something.
Sir, I personally enjoy puri and fried rice with lemon. Ma'am,
Okay, you like,
sorry. They
sorry?
taste so good together. Puri and then this fried rice, and then you just like squeeze a bit of lemon on top. It just
Oh, you
tastes
mix the
very good.
puri and the fried rice together, is it?
Yes.
Okay, that's a very
Instead of
new,
sabzi,
I have
you
not
take the
tried
fried
that.
rice.
Acha, that's very interesting. I'll have to try that sometime. I've never tasted that combination as well. Yes, Fiona wants to add
One
something?
more good combination. You can do this separately and put together also. I
Huh.
mix pasta, noodles, and French fries and pani puri water and I eat
Oh my God. Okay. That's
by
very
putting it in the
interesting.
puri as well.
Okay, now I did not think I will get too many such experimental ideas. I thought one or two is fine, but now somebody would say tomato sauce with ice cream next. Anyway, yes, Dhanur and Vishwa, what would you like to share? Any interesting dishes? Yeah? Or your favorite dish? Anything?
Chapati
With?
with chana masala.
Okay, fine. All right. That's like a standard good dish. Definitely. But the other two are interesting. I think I'll have to experiment them sometime at my own risk. Okay, so let's continue. So after enjoying the various dishes as per their own liking, all students gathered. It's perfectly fine, isn't it? Everybody having different tastes, or everybody should have same tastes. Can anybody make a rule? I like this dish, so everybody should like this dish. Can we do that? No, isn't it? So it's just like that. The student says, sir, now after eating a full stomach, then everybody is good for a lesson. The students are also happy and satisfied. One student says, sir, now we are ready to know something from you. The teacher says, see, we all know about the restless, lazy, and peaceful nature in individuals, isn't it? Likewise, even the food that we eat is having properties to enhance these qualities in us. So, even the food that we eat is having these properties. We have heard of these three natures, isn't it? You remember the three natures, anybody?
Sir, laziness, restlessness, and peacefulness.
So everybody comes into one of these three categories, isn't it? Or, or at one time we only get experience one of these natures, isn't it? Sometimes we get lazy, sometimes we get restful, sometimes we get very peaceful. So what do we have to try? What is the best among all three? Viona, if you have to choose between lazy, restless,
Um,
and peaceful,
Peaceful.
absolutely. Totally. That's exactly what we. But now, what is the teacher saying? Even the food that we eat is having properties to enhance these qualities, meaning there is a connection. Can you believe it? There's a connection between the food and also your
Is
qualities.
the good healthy food is the peacefulness, and restless
Okay.
is all the junk food, and
Okay, that's interesting.
laziness is the rotten food.
Okay, that's a very nice, I think these three connections that you have told. And this is very interesting though, no? What we eat is having an effect on us. On effect of eating is having its, can you believe that your food can can influence your thoughts?
Sir, I think I have heard of something like that. I
Okay,
think there are like three different kinds of food, like the sattvic, which is like the full vegetarian, and then I
okay,
forgot the other two types, but they.
okay. Where was that you heard it?
So my mom told me about it.
Oh, lovely. So it is something from the Gita, is it?
Yes, so my mom keeps telling me about.
Yeah, there's something called Sattvic, there's something called Rajasic, there's something called Tamasic. One, two,
Yes,
three,
sir, that.
three types. So it's like that, what you eat also has an effect on your body, on your thinking. Can you go for a running competition after eating a big meal, full meal? No, not at all. How many of you have eaten curd rice? How many of you like curd rice? 50-50. All right, it's okay. Now, if you have a heavy lunch of curd rice, what happens after that? If you're having some lesson like geography or something in the
You
afternoon?
will fall asleep 400% sure.
400%, 4 into 100%, that's sure. Viona, what do you think?
1000% sure.
Okay, 1000%.
Not even
100 is
1000, maybe
exactly.
infinite.
Okay. Okay, I think this is poetic expression of percentages because we have either generally 100% as the maximum probability of an event. But yes, sleeping is what we call, this is called soporific effect. Foods that cause sleep, cause you to fall asleep. And definitely, I too have experienced that because I remember geography class after lunch and a lunch of curd rice, and you have to just stay alert. Eyes are closing, then you start praying, please keep my eyes open. But the body is not responding. Why? It is the food. So something like this type of food also. There are other two types of foods, which some foods will make you restless. Can you suddenly start meditating after eating a lot of spicy food? No, isn't it? You suddenly get all excited, you all become restless. So it is something like that. Yes, Rennie,
Sir, I thought it was all the sweet foods that made you very restless. And for sir, personally, I cannot tolerate any spice. Yeah.
you cannot tolerate
Spice, absolutely. My
spice.
spice
No, it
tolerance is
actually,
negative.
yeah, no, sweet food also makes you restless sometimes. It actually, what happens, there is in
Me too.
biology, they call it, you have what we say, gluons. They make you very satisfied. There's like glucose and everything enters inside it goes directly to the brain, and the brain has given signal, yeah, we've got overload. Like instead of 100%, now you've got more charge. Your charge is full. So sometimes sleep, say like sweet food makes a person become little sluggish also. But spicy food generally causes irritation on the inside. It causes full restlessness. That's why some people decide, I don't want to eat spicy food at all. Why? Because I want to meditate. Some people want to meditate 24/7 quietly. All the time they want to become quiet because they have some important works to do, isn't it? Like if you see people who have to take different big decisions, they decide, no, I want to be alert. I don't want to lose my, what we can say, concentration. I don't want to lose my consciousness. So I'm going to be alert. So because they understand this link, And I think you also have understood the link, isn't it, between food and our thoughts. So we are very young right now. You can experiment if you want, but understand what is good for you and what is bad for you. So you should ensure that you take what is good for you. So let's see. Let's continue. The student says, okay, so food is also of three types. Please explain. The teacher says, You have observed many types of food here. All foods are categorized into mainly three types. Student says, How, sir? The teacher says, See, first type of food is fresh, easy to digest, nourishing for our body, and is neither oily nor spicy. Eating this type of food makes one happy and peaceful. Fresh fruits. How do you feel after eating fresh fruits? Yeah, Fiona, tell me, what is it?
I like eating fresh fruit.
Yes, you like eating, but I'm asking what happens after you eat? How do you feel right after eating?
Very nice, and I'll feel like eating more.
Yeah, isn't it? You feel like eating more, but you feel calm also, isn't it, after eating it? And your body also likes it. It is not, it is easy to digest. It's easy for digesting. It's like, okay, did I eat it? I don't feel like I ate it only. But then your tummy tells, yes, there's no room now. Full. So then you understand, right, I did eat it. But it doesn't have a lot of what we can say, what we have heavy load onto your body's digestion. So that is the power of fresh food. Eating this type of food makes one happy and peaceful. You know, you don't have the book, isn't it, with you? But you said the exact same thing what's written in the book. Eating this type of food makes a person happy and peaceful. Now, this is what we call anecdotal experience of
I
Viona.
just sit on my own.
Huh? You said it on your own, but that's our experience, isn't it? So when your experience is true, it all books will confirm what you already understand. Maybe you may not have understood. This is something very true. Rennie also, you remember this. When you get an experience and when you get an understanding, then everywhere, no, whatever authoritative books are there, they will only confirm your understanding. Why? Because truth is one, isn't it? Or truth can be different. I'll say good morning, you'll say good night, another person will say good evening, another will say good afternoon. Can we say that? No. Right now, if you are in India, now it is night, and that is the truth, wherever you are, whichever city you are. Yes, Rani.
So, but you can technically say good night or good morning at the same time, but it just depends on where you are.
Time zone. I said India, no? That's why I said India.
Somebody confirmed that later. So, the first sentence it can be said.
What? Oh, the
You
first
mentioned
sentence.
India a bit later, sir.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I was a little slow then. All right. You caught me there. Let's continue. So the first type of food is the food that is fresh, that's easy to digest, which nourishes our body, which makes us stronger. Many times you also understand when you eat that food. That's why it is said, no, you understand what you're eating. Don't just eat like these cartoons. They keep stuffing stuff into their mouth without even looking what it is. That's actually big danger. So that is one type of food which is good for you. The second type of food is extra spicy, salty, oily, and difficult for digestion. Not only your tongue gets little tired, your body also says, "Oh, it's difficult. I'm finding it difficult to digest." You get signals from your body. Consuming such food causes diseases in the long run, and by eating such food, one becomes restless. So, what happens because of eating this type of food? One becomes absolutely
Restless.
restless. Yeah, that is the thing. Now, my coach had told this to me and my friend also what type of food to eat. I think I shared it to you, isn't it? In a previous session. I don't know, Viona was probably absent then, maybe. But we went and decided to eat something extra spicy before a tournament. Why? Because our coach is not there, he's not watching. And then we had the worst time of our life just before the badminton match, what we call dribbling. We were doing that. He also walked to the net, I also walked to the net. Both of us are sweating, and he said, Hey, before the match only, I'm feeling tired. Yeah, see, my stomach is speaking. It is talking about food that I ate. It is talking to me right now. And both of us, we just managed. We were actually very confident we will easily win that match because we knew the opponents. We had played against his opponents. We knew their plus points. We knew their weak points. So we thought, anyway, let's relax. Let's go on. But I think everybody has heard a hare and the tortoise story, isn't it? Overconfidence. What does it do? It makes you lose everything. But by God's grace, we can say we were lucky. We just managed to win, but it was a very tough one, which made us quite tired also, which would have otherwise been a very easy match for us. Why? Because the food inside was hampering our movement. Both of us were not able to move freely. This is what happens with hot, spicy, oily, types of oily food, no? All of that. It's difficult to digest, and sometimes if you eat it regularly, it causes diseases also. People get ulcers because continuously they're eating spicy food all the time. Sometimes ulcer in the mouth, sometimes ulcer in the stomach also. Then there's a third category of food, the teacher says. The third category of food is the lowermost type of food. It comprises of stale, uncooked, or half-cooked foods having a foul smell. This is bad for health and produces a feeling of laziness in the eater. What happens after eating this? A person becomes lazy. A person becomes quite lazy after eating such type of food and also becomes restless. Anybody, have you heard of people eating stale food?
Beggars. They get
Huh?
whatever they have.
Yeah?
Beggars.
No, beggars also prefer. There, many
Yeah,
of
I mean,
them,
they eat whatever they have.
whatever they have, yes. That is, I can say, out of difficulty of no opportunity to eat food or something like that. But willingly, do you know anybody who will eat? Fiona had raised your hand. What for? You were going to share something?
No, you asked if you know anybody, so I just raised my hand.
You said?
You asked if we know anybody who eats stale food. That's why I raised my hand.
Yes. Do you know anybody who eats stale food without naming and you because it will get recorded. So if your friend sees, your friend will feel bad. But without naming, who eats it? No, isn't it? You're not able to quickly think of anyone. Well, there was this friend of mine in college. He would say food tastes better when you eat it next day. And he had the habit of keeping things in the fridge after 2 days. And he convinced one more friend. It's very tasty. See, this is becomes more special. When that person went to eat, he got food poisoning because
My
of that.
dad.
Okay. Okay. I told you not to give names, Rihanna. I'm sure he doesn't do that. Let's continue. So this type of food. It comprises of stale, uncooked or half-cooked food, or foods having a foul smell. This is bad for health and produces a feeling of laziness in the eater. So this is a quality of that food. It makes a person lazy as well. Yes, Reddy, tell me.
So you had said uncooked food, but in many cultures, it's a habit to eat uncooked food, even though it's not meant to be eaten uncooked. For example,
Example?
in Japan, they have a tendency to add raw eggs to a lot of stuff they have. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff, and then especially in their sushi, they eat
But
raw
even
fish.
that raw eggs, they have to be very careful when they eat that, no? They have a big criteria of how they eat. There is sushi also, there is raw eggs also. But it is not the same type of raw eggs that is eaten by like these are cultivated in a particular manner. They don't just take any raw egg also. And it is a little bit of a risk, definitely. Don't you agree? Nowadays, you have so much chemicals everywhere. Who knows what type of injections the poultry farms are given continuously? There are pesticides, and now we go cleaning in the beach because you know why? Plastics are being dumped, thrown. They enter into fishes also as microplastics. What we throw, isn't it? So that is why. That is why it is not ideal. Not at all ideal to have it in today's day and time. So maybe in Japan, but there also, if you replicate that system here, it may not work out because you will not have the same atmosphere. So that is what it is. If you see another type of this is stale also or having foul smell. Some people have that negative tendency of eating such type of foods, but it is not good. You should at least, if you're not, I don't have to advise everybody what they are eating is bad or anything, but at least ensure you don't eat that. No? That much you can definitely ensure. Because what happens when you try advising, even if you are saying with a good intention, if the person does not want to hear, it's no use, isn't it? So, but remember for yourself, you don't want to do that. Even fermented foods, no, they also make a person lazy. We talked about curd rice. What is curd rice?
It's curd and rice.
Yeah, curd and rice. But the curd, how does curd? Curd is made from
It's
what? Ferment. It's
fermented, yeah. It's
fermentation
fermented
process,
milk.
isn't it? Yeah, and a fermented milk only causes slight sleepy effect, drowsy effect. That's what we're talking about. All right, let's continue. The student says, so we must know what we eat and we must eat it very carefully, isn't it? The teacher says, yes, very good. We must observe what we eat. If at times you eat heavily on some occasion, then you must either observe a fast or take very light food and balance the diet subsequently. This way, you can keep yourself healthy and happy. So, this is what dietitians also say. There's something called intermittent fasting. There are different ways. I think in India, traditionally, so many people observe fasts on certain days. Have you heard of that? Why do they do that? It is actually for balancing. So sometimes you eat too heavy food in one meal and then you feel, now what will I eat? Then next time you can eat a little lesser. Otherwise, what's going to happen? You will have that bloated feeling, continuously. I remember my friends had come to but we had organized a birthday in my house. My mother had cooked wonderful burgers. My friend ate 9 of them. And next day morning we were playing. He was like, the food is still the food is still in my stomach. I can't move. Next day morning, that was after nearly 8, 9 hours, he's still like that. I mean, do we have to overeat? Not at all. You should balance. Otherwise, it gives you a bloated feeling. Let's continue. The teacher goes on. Very good. We must observe what we eat. If at times you eat heavily on some occasion, then you must either observe a fast or take very light food and balance the diet subsequently. Why? This way you can keep yourself healthy and happy. Now, since you are young, isn't it? Both of you are just growing. Right now, it's all right. Your digestive systems, they need food, so you don't have to worry about fasting. But you can understand this principle so that after a while, as you grow up, then maybe after you become adults, then you can understand that sometimes maybe I'll have to control this. All right, let's continue. The student says, this we will definitely follow, sir. The teacher goes on. He says, and further, what you eat produces the effect in your nature also. If you eat simple and fresh food, you feel calm. If you eat spicy and hot food, you feel restless. And if you eat stale, old food, you become lazy. Immediately, the student asks, sir, what about non vegetarian food? Immediately, the question which creates a lot of controversy, isn't it? Fights happen between best friends also over the food choice. So now the student says, I'll get the answer now, immediately. Yes, Rennie, tell me.
So I think the biggest fight between vegetarians and non-vegetarians is veg biryani or pulao.
Yeah.
For the non-vegetarians, it's the same thing, but for the vegetarians, pulao is different, fried rice is different, veg biryani is different.
Huh. No, I didn't understand this connection again once more, Rennie. Sorry. Yeah. The
Sir, I'm just
difference?
saying that many
Yeah.
non-vegetarians, they just think that pulao and veg biryani are basically the same thing. But non-veg, like
Okay.
this, the
Okay.
vegetarians say that no, veg biryani has all the masalas. Pulao doesn't have it. And then they
Okay.
just go on and all these explanations. And even if they may be true, the non-vegetarians will say no. They are the same thing.
Yeah. My friend had even now actually, even he's now married, he's got a child who is what, I think 8 to 10 years old. But even now he says, vegetarian food, I'm not a goat. I'll not eat that. No. Then there's another person who says, yes, it is important. So now the student says, let us, why not take the chance and get an answer to this big question, vegetarian or non-vegetarian? But let's see what the teacher says. The teacher says, C, veg or non-veg. The basic principle is the same. Food is food, and whatever food at home is made for you is always good, as it is made with love and for your own good. Means what food is there at home. Otherwise, suddenly people start fighting with their parents. Instead of that, you understand that whatever food at home is being made by your parents, accept it with love. But students, we are studying the basic principles and types of food. So one should never pronounce on another's food. This is a big principle, you know. Even grown-ups sometimes forget that. Never pronounce on another's food. If you're eating your favorite dish, somebody comes and says, oh, yuck, yuck, what a horrible dish you're eating. And your favorite dish when you're eating, somebody keeps writing like a poem of why it is bad. How will you feel? You'll feel irritated, isn't it? You'll feel like, hey, I'm eating, don't spoil my appetite right now. Just leave me alone for some time. Isn't it? Because it's a personal thing, no? It's a personal choice of a person. So that is something. So one should never pronounce on another's food. As we have learned before, there are likes and dislikes in all human beings, isn't it? Each of us have different likes. Somebody says, I like this color. Another person says, no, I don't like this color. I like the opposite color. But ultimately, it's a choice of a person. So it's something like that. They're always there. An individual's freedom to choose one's own food as per his or her liking should be considered. Meaning, can you suddenly stop being friends with somebody because of their food type only? Yeah? No, isn't it? You have the choice. You have the choice. I don't like this person, so I will not be a friend with that person. That's your decision. But just because, no, I like this person is good or she is good, everything is fine. But this person mixes puri with rice, so I will not be friends. Can anybody ever do such a thing? It will be a silly thing to do, isn't it? You will lose out on a very good friendship if you do like that. Same thing happens everywhere. So this aspect, let's not enter into that debate is what the teacher is trying to tell. Everybody is there. Everybody is having their own choices. You follow your choice. Nobody is asking you to suddenly start eating the food another person likes. You don't like it, nobody should force you to eat it. Same way, because you don't like being forced, no? Same way, you should also not force on anybody else. Especially never say somebody's food which somebody likes is the worst thing in the world is like a very sad thing to say. Why will you do that to your own friends? So that you must remember. At the same time, one must make the best choice of food for achievement of progress in both health and nature. So that's what the teacher says. So same time you understand because like I told you the example, isn't it? Of a friend of mine who said food tastes better after keeping in the fridge after some more days. It does not taste good. It's not healthy. I have a friend who has then got a PhD in biotechnology, food biotechnology. So that person is an expert. So I just asked, hey, this person's dialogue, what do you think? No, it's useless. But this person was eating it, another person felt like eating just because the other person is eating. And what happened after that? This person got food poisoning because it was poison. It is poison for the other friend also, but somehow the body tolerated the poison because of over years of immunity developed because of doing that. But this other person could not tolerate it at all. So let us all remember. So the answer, if anybody says veg or non-veg, which is better,
Veg.
what will you answer? Yes, Fiona?
Veg. Veg.
So you will now if somebody if some friend of yours is not vegetarian, you will say I'm never going to talk to you. No, isn't it? And now just because your friend is non-vegetarian, will you become non-vegetarian? Meona?
No.
No, not at all, isn't it? You have to have your own personal understanding, your own choice. You understand what's good for you, what's. But food choices should not be the reason you have permanent fights with people. Your liking and disliking is there. You can have it. It's perfectly legit. You can have that. But remember not to ridicule another person just because of their food. All right, let us continue. So now the teacher says one must take care and see the best food. Some dietitians say actually what Viona said is also right. Many people say that is the most ideal. There are some dietitians who say some is required. So it's like it varies with so many people, so many thoughts. But you understand yourself. As you grow, you will understand which is good for your body. I used to understand when, because running and all, no, when you do running, you have to be very careful with what you're eating because it has an effect on you. Your endurance, especially when you want to do long distance running, no? Even what you have eaten sometime back also, you have to, it's like 5, 6 hours before also what you have eaten. That has a bearing on your body and movement. So then I would understand, right? This initially I would not understand it at all. Then I would understand through experience, ki, "Oh, this is not right. So at least now when the tournament is here, let me understand this is not what I should do." So I understood my body. Like that, you understand your body and the effect of food. That's what the teacher is saying, which is good for health as well as nature. All the best students and good day is what the teacher says. Now let's look at the points to remember. Number one, food and nature have a close relationship. All right? There's a close, interconnected relationship between food and nature of a person. Food, second point. Food is food. Others' food choices shouldn't be our primary concern. Should you look at what if you go to a hotel and you're ordering food, will you look at, oh, what is that person eating? What is that, what that plate? Or you'll focus on what's in your plate. Yes, Rennie?
So sometimes when looking at others, you might also get a hint about what could happen if you choose whatever they did. For example, recently when I'd gone to Jaipur, me and my family had gone to a restaurant. Okay, so as and since we were in the waiting room, one family left, and then we saw the waiters clear up the table, and then
Yeah.
there were is a family of four, and they all had ordered a Rajasthani thali, and then after that, two full thalis were left, and they were taken.
Okay.
So after that, we learned that if
That's
you
good.
wanted Rajasthani, two would be enough for four people, and sir, it was very
No,
full.
that is a wise alertness. We can say that. But what I'm saying is, like there was a friend of mine. He was after going to college also. He would order something and then look at that place and he would call, "What is that in that plate? I want that also. I want that." He would just look at another plate and order the same thing. And in the end, what would happen? Exactly like how Rennie said, no? A lot of food. He said, "No problem, I'll pack it." But even if he packs it, how much can you eat? You can't eat immediately, isn't it? So instead of your, just like they say, grass is always greener on the other side. Sometimes food in the other plate tastes way more tasty. When it comes to your plate, you will not feel it that much. So your choice should be yours, not just simply influenced by something else you see. Because sometimes people make very attractive advertisements, isn't it? And then looking at the advertisement, you feel, ah, yes, I'm going to experience some heavenly bliss if I eat this. Because after eating in the advertisement, everybody shakes their head, they start dreaming and all of that. But when you literally eat it, you don't get anything, isn't it? You don't get that experience. That experience you probably will get from your own food or when you eat it yourself, when you choose your choice. You'll understand that. So this is what we are talking about. It's somebody else's food choices shouldn't be our primary concern. It's not be our primary concern. Main concern shouldn't be that. Then third, what is healthy food? Healthy food is that which is digestible easily. So do a study. Study which type of food is digested easily by your body and then draw your conclusion. Draw your inference. After drawing your inference, Don't go shouting into your neighbor's ear. This is the inference of my research, and now this food is only I declare. When you launch your own kingdom and you start your there, you become the queens of that kingdom, then you can pass your royal decree. But I think, do we have kingdoms like in the olden days now? Kings and queens ruling, passing decrees. Yes or no? Yes or no? Reni is saying yes. In Bharat, at least, do we have Maharajas and Maharanis? Henceforth, I declare this to be the only dish everybody should eat in my kingdom because I
Sir,
like
I
it.
have read many stories where that actually did happen, but I think they were all fairy tales. Fairy tales.
You think what?
I think those weren't true. I think they were all fairy tales. Like one time, how a king
Yeah, fairy tales,
had
isn't
a
it?
dish of
Ah,
carrot, and then he was like, "Now no one will eat anything other than carrot." Then after that, everyone started
yeah,
eating carrots. Everyone is tired. Soon the king got tired, and soon the king sneezed,
yeah.
and then everyone like just said, "Bless you." And then the king's like, "Damn, I like that." So he said that whenever
Ah,
I sneeze, a bell will be rung, and all the people of the town will say bless you to the king.
okay. So where did it end?
It ended with this dude marrying the king's daughter, but that's a different story. I mean, sort of this
Okay.
king just learned his lesson.
Okay, he kind of learned his lesson. But my question is, can you do that? Can you you form your own kingdom and make a decree? No, isn't it? So what you do is you eat the food that's good for you, understand the effect of that food after eating. How is it? How do you feel after eating it? Your freshness, all of it. Is it easily digestible by your body? Understand that and then draw your inference. And after drawing your inference, remember you are not that king in Reni's story that you can decree everybody or queen. You can decree that everybody must eat this because I like it. Right? You can, if somebody asks you, then you can say, see, this is my experience. I understand this type of food is right. This is not. You have the right to choose, but you don't have the right to enforce onto somebody else. That's one important point. So, healthy food is that which is digestible easily. Food should be well cooked, neither burnt nor raw. That's the ideal way generally. Even in Ayurveda, they talk about that only. If it's too burnt, again, it's not so good. And if it's too raw, undercooked, then also it's not. So, with this, I think we can conclude. Anybody can summarize the points that we saw today?
Sorry, the food we eat affects our thinking.
Food we eat?
It affects our thoughts and natures, actually.
Yeah. Yes, that's one point. Second, Viona, can you add one more?
I was just gonna say that
Yeah, what is it?
the we have three, like, what do you say, like laziness,
Three types of
peacefulness,
foods.
and no, laziness, peacefulness, and rigidness, restlessness. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Laziness, peacefulness, and restlessness. So food that is connected with the food also. Some foods make you restless, some foods make you peaceful, some foods make you lazy, isn't it? Coffee. What happens when you take coffee?
So you become hyperactive, very
Hyperactive, isn't it?
restless.
And everybody has a different tolerance. I remember
So
one
since
friend of
I
mine,
don't drink
he was
coffee, I'm
extra
not sure.
tolerant. Yes, Rini?
So personally, I don't drink coffee. I just think water is the way to go. If you're feeling tired, wash your face. That's it.
Okay. Ah, yeah, everybody has a choice, isn't it? That's also what we like they didn't take that. But you should understand because some I know a friend of mine, little coffee also would make him all like a rabbit suddenly. Very extra alert. Yeah, what is it? What is it? Hey, I said this person never gave him coffee around when he is around. They would say, move him out. because there are what we call stimulants in it, and people's tolerance is different. Like there are stimulants in tea also. They say theobromine is there in tea and caffeine is there in coffee, which makes a person hyperactive. Some people require it, isn't it, to start their day, or some people who work at night, they want to feel fresh and alert because they want to think. So that time they take that. But it's not, there are different ways. So this is one more thing that we learned. So I think with this, we are ready to conclude our session today. Is that okay? Yeah. So all right, let's close our exactly 2 minutes. 1, 2, 3. Let's start. All right, 30 more seconds. Okay, now slowly. Yeah. Can now open your eyes. Yeah. Okay. So see you again. All right then.
Sir, bye, sir.
Now today's yes, so today's Wednesday, so we'll have
Bye.
next session on Friday. And so we are right now in I think chapter number 17, isn't it?
Yes.
So we have two more chapters. So we'll probably have it will complete next week on Monday.